Queens, New York is a wonderful fusion of exotic people, cuisines, and cultures. Look around you and step cautiously. Be aware and very conscious of where you are, for you walk the streets of history. Yes, the streets of Queens were once the playground of many famous people. Sinatra and Tony Bennett, Cyndi Lauper and Satchmo Armstrong, Houdini and ruthless gangsters, whose names cannot be mentioned here. Yet, Queens, New York is also the place where people from all over the world live. Queens, New York is actually the most ethnically diverse place on the planet. So, join us as we explore this wondrous place with the Queen's Digest magazine. Let's meet and learn about these people, where they come from, and who they are. Roots, rock, reggae, and soul. Jamaican music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Jamaica, that beautiful Caribbean island that is a popular vacation destination, is also the land of Bob Marley, Buju Banton, Byron Lee, and Sean Paul. I guess you knew that. But how many of you can recall names like Ken Lazarus, Boothe and Boris Gardner? Yes, they too are from Jamaica, and they produce some of the most memorable music of the 60s and 70s. And while Jamaican in origin, their music was shared, enjoyed, and treasured by the entire Caribbean, and yes, the Guyanese and people from around the world. Hi there, and welcome once again to the Queen's Digest magazine. I am your host, Andrew. Join me as we explore the rich stories of the most ethnically diverse place on the planet, Queens, New York. Among the many groups of people who live here are our Caribbean friends, the Jamaicans, and today we will talk about the sweet, lively, and beautiful music of Jamaica. Go down memory lane and recall those days of house parties, beer gardens, pool halls, and jukeboxes that rocked and vibrated to the sounds of real good Caribbean music. Do you remember those days? With a disproportionately large musical influence, the island of Jamaica boasts a rich history of vocal talent. The decades of the 1960s, 70s, and 80s represent a particularly fertile period, witnessing the evolution of Jamaican music from ska to rocksteady and reggae, and the emergence of a distinctively sweet soul sound. This era from the 60s to the 80s produced a galaxy of singers whose voices resonated with the island's struggles, triumphs, and spiritual yearning, captivating audiences both locally and internationally. Today we'll look back at the contributions of some of these remarkable vocalists, including Ken Lazarus, Burning Spear, Boris Gardner, and Byron Lee, while also highlighting the unique Jamaican interpretation of soul music that flourished during this time. The 1960s in Jamaica was a period of burgeoning national identity, marked by independence from British colonial rule in 1962. There was political and social turmoil in that island as well as throughout the Caribbean, including Guyana and indeed all across the globe. During this time, people everywhere struggled with the newfound knowledge of a new and much more dangerous world. Amidst all of this turmoil, people turned to the movies and most of all to the sound of music on their radios to find peace and joy. Out of the newly independent Jamaica came the sounds of joy and newfound freedom that was expressed in several styles of music. One of the early genres was the musical style called ska, a vibrant and energetic genre that blended Jamaican folk traditions with American rhythm and blues. This era saw the rise of vocal groups like the Skatalites, the Wailers, featuring a young Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and Bunny Wailer. Then there was the Maytals, with Toots Hibbert, who laid the foundation for the vocal harmonies and rhythmic sensibilities that would define Jamaican music for decades to come. While the focus here is on individual singers, it is important to acknowledge the vital role of these groups in shaping the musical landscape. As the rhythm of ska transitioned into the slower, more soulful rocksteady in the mid-1960s, the spotlight began to shine on individual vocalists. This period also saw the nascent stages of reggae, which further emphasized the singer's role as storyteller and social commentator. During this time, Jamaica produced a wave of singers who possessed distinctive voices and compelling stage presence. Ken Boothe, often referred to as the baby face of reggae, emerged as a prominent figure during this period. His smooth, soulful vocals and emotive delivery made him a favorite among Jamaican audiences. His hit songs like Everything I Own, a soulful ballad that topped the UK charts, and Crying Over You, showcased his ability to connect with listeners on a deeply personal level. Boothe's music embodied the soulful yearning and romantic sensibilities that characterized rocksteady and early reggae, solidifying his place as a cornerstone of Jamaican vocal music. While perhaps best known for his instrumental work, particularly his iconic rendition of Elizabeth Reggae, Boris Gardner was also a talented vocalist during the 70s. His smooth, mellow voice graced numerous recordings, often adding a touch of sophistication and romance to Jamaican music. His versatility allowed him to move seamlessly between instrumental and vocal performances, making him a significant figure in the Jamaican music scene. Ken Lazarus was a versatile artist whose career spanned several genres, including ska, rocksteady, and reggae. He possessed a powerful and soulful voice, capable of conveying both tenderness and strength. His interpretations of classic soul songs, as well as his original compositions, showcased his musical range and his ability to connect with audiences across different musical styles. Lazarus's contribution to the Jamaican music scene lies in his ability to blend international influences with Jamaican musical traditions, creating a unique and compelling sound. The 1970s witnessed the global explosion of reggae, largely thanks to the international success of Bob Marley. However, alongside Marley, a host of other Jamaican singers contributed to the genre's rich tapestry. This era saw the rise of roots reggae, which addressed social and political issues with greater urgency and incorporated Rastafarian themes. Jimmy Cliff is a highly popular and influential reggae musician. He is considered one of the pioneers of the genre and has achieved international fame and recognition. Jimmy Cliff was instrumental in bringing reggae to a global audience, particularly through his starring role in the iconic film The Harder They Come in 1972. This film and its soundtrack are widely credited with introducing reggae music to the world. While his popularity might not have reached the same level as Bob Marley, Jimmy Cliff is undoubtedly a major figure in reggae music. His contributions to the genre and his international success have cemented his place as one of the most important and influential reggae artists of all time. And let's not forget these other artists who made significant contributions to the Jamaican music scene. The crown prince of reggae, Dennis Brown, had a smooth, soulful voice and a prolific career. Toots Hibbert, the lead singer of Toots and the Maytals, had a sweet, unique voice and a dynamic stage presence. He is perhaps best known for the hit song, 54-46 Was My Number. Burning Spear, known for his Rastafarian lyrics and unique vocal style, was a prominent figure in the roots reggae movement. Gregory Isaacs, popular for hits like Night Nurse, had a string of hits in the lovers rock genre. One of Jamaica's first child stars, Delroy Wilson, had a long career spanning ska, rocksteady, and reggae. Keith Lynn is a Jamaican singer who was a member of Byron Lee and the Dragonaires. He later migrated to the United States, but eventually returned to Jamaica. Keith Lynn has continued to be active in music, performing regularly and working on various projects. Byron Lee and the Dragonaires, while known primarily as an instrumental band, played a crucial role in popularizing Jamaican music both locally and internationally. Lee was a shrewd businessman and bandleader who recognized the potential of Jamaican music to reach a global audience. While the band featured various vocalists over the years, their focus was primarily on instrumental arrangements and dance music. However, their contribution to the Jamaican music scene is undeniable. They helped to create a platform for Jamaican musicians and played a vital role in the development of ska, rocksteady, and reggae. The soul music coming out of Jamaica in the 60s and 70s was not simply a carbon copy of American soul. It possessed a distinct Jamaican flavor, infused with the rhythms of ska and rocksteady, and the spiritual yearning of Rastafarianism. The 1980s saw the emergence of dancehall, a new genre that reflected the changing social and political landscape of Jamaica. Dancehall was characterized by its faster tempos, digital instrumentation, and DJs who toasted over pre-recorded rhythms. This era saw a shift in focus from the soulful ballads of the 70s to more rhythmic and dance-oriented music. Dancehall initially existed alongside reggae, but it eventually became the dominant genre in Jamaica. While the focus here is on the earlier period, it's important to acknowledge the singers who bridged the gap between reggae and dancehall. Artists like Yellow Man, known for his witty lyrics and distinctive vocal style, and Sugar Minot, who transitioned from reggae to dancehall, helped to shape the sound of Jamaican music in the 1980s. The singers of the 60s, 70s, and 80s laid the foundation for the global popularity of Jamaican music. Their voices, filled with passion, emotion, and social consciousness, resonated with audiences around the world. From the soulful ballads of Ken Lazarus to the innovative sounds of Byron Lee and the Dragonaires, these artists helped to define the golden age of Jamaican music. Their influence can still be heard in contemporary music, demonstrating the enduring power of their contributions to the global musical landscape. The soulful expressions of that bygone era, deeply rooted in Jamaican culture and experience, were the soundtrack of our Caribbean lifestyle back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. The music of Jamaican artists continued to inspire and move listeners, ensuring that the legacy of these remarkable singers will live on for generations to come. For those of us who grew up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, their music is indelibly emblazoned upon our memory. We surely hope that you have enjoyed today's walk down memory lane. Thank you for joining us. Do share our videos with everyone you know and let us have your comments too. We look forward to your company on the next episode of The Queen's Digest magazine. Goodbye for now.